Joining us now is Kate Hardcastle. She's a retail expert. Kate, good afternoon.
Hi there. Good afternoon.
How critical is this? We've heard some difficult stories about older people who can't get out, having to wait for a week and a half for online deliveries. Are they really struggling? And what do you think is the solution to it?
It's something I've been concerned about for several weeks. We started tracking online delivery availability, and what we could see day on day was that the availability moved a few weeks ago from just beyond the usual service timescale. You would expect to be able to book a delivery within 24 hours. Soon after, it was 3 days, moving on to a week. And now we're at a situation where even some of the major websites aren't able to cope with the demand. Now, we have to do exactly as we've been asked, which is to keep very calm, shop responsibly, and if we are able to do so, head to the shops. There are lots of new measures being brought into the supermarkets, including distance regulations, more security, but I do expect we will see more of this limit that Tesco have advised today, where they're limiting the amount of product you can buy overall, not just of one particular product, as they start to come to terms with making sure they can feed everyone, feed the nation, which was the commitment at the start.
Indeed, it is very difficult for older and vulnerable people in particular. I mean, on a personal level, my mum is over 80 and she's not happy going to the shop because of the amount of people queuing. You have to pay by credit card. And so I do shopping for my mum. Now, a lot of people aren't in that position, but equally older people, they can't do the shopping online because of the wait. And what Tesco and other supermarkets are doing, I suppose, is asking people. It's very difficult to enforce them not to shop online, isn't it?
Well, it is, but some of the major websites have actually started to move to the qualification questions, asking if you really need this slot, asking if you are in one of the categories. Many of us do use online shopping as a regular way of doing our shopping. I know I certainly do, but I've moved away from that because I feel I don't want to be taking spots that could really help a family that need it right now. So when it's the right time, I have a lot of provisions in cupboard and freezer, but I will be going out there and I will be making sure I follow all the guidelines and procedures at the supermarket. When I go in there, I expect to see a much calmer atmosphere because that's what I've heard has started to happen over the last 48 hours. People actually getting in there, finding that things are much calmer, there's more stock on the shelves. And actually, I think just the dawning realisation of consumers that actually this is probably going to be several weeks, if not months of our life. So we have to just do this sensibly. Panic buying is an emotional reaction. And I think actually as we get used to our new norm, we might all find some way and ability to think of others first if we can.
Indeed, we've been told we're not running out of food, we're not running out of products. One thing that struck me is that small shops remain open as well, and often they're a better alternative to the big supermarkets because people tend to flock to the supermarkets. Whereas on most high streets, there are small shops, veg shops, bakers, which are still open and don't have the big queues outside them.
And you're quite right. We've been supporting a lot of those businesses. We've been signposting there. I wish the supermarkets would also signpost and remind people of the community stores who need your money more than ever right now. I have had a bit of pushback sometimes when I've recommended this, that they're not as cheap as the supermarkets. And I know, honestly, every single penny counts. But if it's the sake of getting the items you need and putting a little bit back into the economy, it would be great if we could do that. I think what I'm also hearing as well, independent businesses working together, because people don't want to feel that they're doing multiple store visits. So if the butcher and the baker can get together and collaborate on boxes of goods for us in our neighbourhoods, that would be a great service too. It's all about thinking differently. It's about thinking sensibly and really getting hold of your recipe books. I have been through the cupboard, the pantry. We are making recipes we've never made before. The children are trying different things. That's the thing to do, get a positive attitude with it because essentially there is enough, but it's probably not going to be those grand amount of variety of brands we've had before.
Great advice. That's Kate Hardcastle, a retail expert, joining us here on BBC Radio Wales.